Are you thinking about moving to Salem, Oregon, but you're not sure which neighborhood is right for you? Well, whether you're looking for convenience, affordability, or just a nice, quiet place to live, Salem has lots of options for you. In today's video, we're diving into 3 neighborhoods that all have great qualities depending on your budget and lifestyle. Let's get into it. Welcome back to the YouTube channel. I'm your host, Ryan Welty, and of course today we are talking about 3 of the most popular neighborhoods here in the Salem, Oregon area. Now, I'm a highly analytical person and I hate categorizing things as best when it's hard to actually define the metrics. And sure, that's what we named the YouTube video, but in reality, it's very difficult to quantify neighborhoods in Salem as better than one another. There's not a list you can just go search that says this is the best neighborhood, because everyone has different things they want in a neighborhood. So today's video, we're going to be exploring some 3 popular neighborhoods, each for different reasons. And we're going to be continuing this series on with future videos. So there'll be a playlist linked here once there's a few extra. And today we are starting off in the JanRae neighborhood. Now, if you zoom in on Google Maps, you're probably not going to see a little marker that says JanRae. You're going to see Hayesville. JanRae is on the north side of the Hayesville area, north of Hayesville Road and south of Kale. Now, north of Kale is new construction development, which is great if you're looking for that. But if you're looking for the resale market, you really have to be in the Hayesville or the JanRae areas. Now, Northeast Salem is not always the most popular area in Salem for my home buyers to be looking, but it is actually one of the most affordable places in Salem. So if you're looking for a house on a budget, Northeast Salem is probably going to be on the list just because it might have the only options for you, because it has a slight discount over South Salem, West Salem, and definitely areas of Central Salem. The JanRae area was developed starting in the 70s, and it kind of had a slow development all the way into 2005. There are a few houses built in the JanRae neighborhood specifically that started as new construction, more modern, like 2002 to currently. I think there was one built last year, 2004 or 5. One of the reasons I really like the JanRae area is because of the lot sizes. Now, I've spoken to a lot of people that want a little bit more room around them in their house and don't want to be so close to the neighbor. And of course, new construction, you don't really get that. So on the resale market, you have to look for areas that have bigger lot sizes. Now, not all of JanRae has the bigger areas, but you can find houses in this area with 0.45 acres. Those are pretty uncommon, but they pop up every once in a while, and all the way down to the more standard 0.18 acres. Since this is the more affordable area in town, you can find your quote-unquote starter homes. So like a 2 or a 3 bedroom house with maybe 1 or 1.5 bathrooms. And these are going to be on the cheaper side of the market. Houses in the JanRae area are selling from anywhere between $360,000 to $625,000, but the average sales price is usually around $425,000. A few more reasons people like this neighborhood is it is actually really nice for commuting. The JanRae and Northeast Salem in general runs parallel with I-5 and has really easy access to get on and off of I-5. So if you're commuting to Portland area or down to Eugene, Albany area, it's really easy to hop onto I-5 either at the Chemawa, Portland Road, or the Market Street exit. In general, it doesn't take much time to get from I-5 to the residential areas, especially here in JanRae, so it doesn't add that much time to commute time, unlike other areas in Salem. Northeast Salem is also close to a lot of shopping centers and grocery stores. Honestly, one of the most convenient areas of Salem to get around and about because it is very flat. So there isn't hills or rivers blocking pathways, so you can just take a road straight to wherever you're going. There's no bridges or hills. So if you enjoy walking or just easy driving, Northeast Salem is a little bit more convenient than other areas of Salem. Another interesting thing about the JanRae area is the city of Salem has a wandering city line. And so it doesn't just cut straight through on the edge of JanRae, it actually cuts through the middle of JanRae kind of haphazardly. So you can actually find yourself in the middle of a country zone, not within city limits. So you can find a USDA loan in the JanRae neighborhood on occasion because you're technically not in city limits, and you'll also get slightly lower taxes because you're not paying additional city of Salem taxes. You're just paying the Marion County tax rate at that point. If you're thinking of moving to the JanRae area, you're in luck because this area usually has a pretty high real estate inventory active at any one time. I think there are 6 to 8 actives, usually depending on time of year. And then you usually have 25 to 35 houses in the JanRae area sell every single year. So especially if you're willing to put your neighborhood out a little farther than just JanRae and maybe include Hayesville, or if you're looking for new construction, you can include the developments north of Kale Street, then you'll be able to find a house fairly quickly because there'll be quite a few options available to you. But that is enough for JanRae. Let's get on to the next one. Well, we are at our second neighborhood, and while I don't know if it's the official name of the neighborhood, it is what one of my mentors always told me it was called, and that is the W's. We are off of Brush College Road, and there's a series of neighborhoods or streets back here in this neighborhood, all named with W names. So they've always just called this neighborhood the W's. This area was developed starting in the 70s and finished development in the mid-90s. While you can find a few 2-bedroom, 1-bath houses, your most common house in this area is going to be a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. They're almost exclusively all of that. You can, every once in a while, find a 4-bedroom house or one with a 3rd bathroom, but it's not very common. You get a mix of single-level and 2-level homes and lots of different architectural styles. So there's several options if you're looking for this neighborhood or surrounding neighborhoods, especially in this West Salem area. Compared to JanRae area, lot sizes here are slightly smaller but not tiny because the development was done back in the 70s and 80s mostly. They do have slightly larger lot sizes than modern new construction, but still slightly smaller lot sizes than the Northeast Salem area we were just at. Homes in this neighborhood are selling anywhere from $400,000 to $585,000. And since these are all pretty much 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, a lot of the difference is from how updated the house is. So if it's a house that needs a remodel, then it's going to sell on the lower end of that scale, versus if it has been fully updated with some nice features, then it's going to sell on the higher end of that spectrum. Of course, part of the difference in price in this area also has to do with the size of the homes, and you can get anywhere from 1,500 square feet to close to 3,000 square feet in this area. The W's isn't just a quiet neighborhood, but it is a nice quiet neighborhood. It also attracts a lot of parents and families with kids in it because West Salem is one of the better school districts in the Salem, Oregon area. This neighborhood has Calapooya Elementary School, Straub Stewart Middle School, and West Salem High School, all very close to this area. The middle school is actually just at the top of the street over, but again, because it's so close to highly rated schools in our area, it attracts a lot of families. If you are commuting to Portland or Eugene and use I-5 a lot, West Salem is kind of a bummer of a neighborhood to be in, just because it adds a lot of time of commute to get to I-5 and then get to your destination. Just battling the bridge to get into downtown Salem and then getting through all of central Salem to get to I-5 can be a little bit of a hassle. So you don't find as many commuters to Portland that aren't doing a lot of telework in the West Salem area. If you commute to the McMinnville, Dayton, Newburgh area, or even Corvallis, West Salem can be a great option for that, and that's because West Salem has easy access to 99W. This neighborhood has close access to several good parks. There's the Straub Park and the Brush College Park on the north side of the W's neighborhood. And of course, West Salem has really easy access to downtown Salem, so lots of restaurants and dining and activities in that area. So I probably wouldn't recommend you to put your search just to this neighborhood, solely for the fact that only 10 homes in this neighborhood sell any year. So it doesn't have a great inventory turnover. So if you're looking to move somewhere quick, this might not be a good neighborhood because you could be waiting a while until you find the house that works right for you. While the W's is a great neighborhood, if you are looking in West Salem, I'd probably recommend widening your search range out a little farther than just this specific spot, so you can find a house sooner rather than later. Well, I am at the last stop of the day, and it is Creekside Estates. Creekside Estates is probably most well known for Creekside Golf Club, which is one of the best golf clubs here in the Salem, Oregon area. It is a members only golf club. It's a little easier to get around in here than like per se Illahee if you are not a member, but it can be a little more challenging than the public golf clubs here in the Salem, Oregon area. You do not need to be a member of Creekside Estates to have a membership here, but if you're into golf, it's a great place to live because you do get a discount on the Creekside membership if you're a resident of the estates. Salem, Oregon does not have a lot of homeowners associations, and Creekside is actually one of the biggest homeowners associations in the Salem, Oregon area. So whether or not you like HOAs will probably depend on whether or not you watch the next few minutes of this video, as obviously you have to pay an HOA fee to live in the Creekside Estates neighborhood, which in my opinion is nice because it keeps the neighborhood clean, cohesive. They have strict codes that allow for certain buildings, certain colors, and certain styles. So the whole neighborhood looks nice, and you don't have that one pink house that kind of is an eyesore to the rest of the community. But it is a very nice, quiet neighborhood to move into. Now, Creekside does have a condo association called The Point on the southern side of the main golf course. The Point has a $400 HOA fee, and that's because it's a condo association and they have to pay for the condo association and the normal Creekside Estates HOA fee. Here on the northern single family residential area of Creekside, the HOA fee is closer to $50 a month if you just have that single lot. I know there are some houses that take up a double lot and they probably have a larger HOA fee. Creekside started developing in the early 70s and finished most of its development in the early 2000s. Now, there were still a few lots that weren't developed, and most of them are actually getting developed right now. There's a new construction just around the corner from me that is currently under construction, and one that is actually for sale, or I think sold within the last year. That was built in 2023 or 2024. So while you can find newer construction homes, they're very, very, very rare in the Creekside area. Mostly you're going to be looking at houses that are 60 to 25 years old. Creekside's kind of fun because it is so old, yet it looks so nice, but you can find some really interesting houses, especially interiors of houses. Most of the houses around here have been remodeled at some point since they were built, but not all. So if you're looking for a more affordable option here in Creekside, you can look for one that hasn't been renovated yet, but will probably need some work, maybe not. These houses are still usually nice and livable, but just a little dated past what most people that are on the market are looking for right now. The good and the bad part of Creekside is that it is a more luxury neighborhood. So you're not going to find your starter homes or more affordable homes here in the Creekside area. The cheaper houses in Creekside are selling for around $460,000. At least that was the cheapest in the last 2 years. The most expensive that's sold in the last few years is $860,000. So it's a very wide range of sale price here in Creekside. The average sales price is around $620,000. So well over the average sales price for Salem, which is right now at $430,000. And prices in Creekside can go closer to the $1 million mark or even over $1 million mark. There's currently one listed at $1.45 million. It hasn't sold and it's been on the market for a little while, so we'll see where it actually ends up at. The Creekside neighborhood tends to attract older, retired, aged people living here. That's mostly what you'll find. It isn't age restricted, so you can have families in here with kids. There are a few. I saw some driving in the other day, but in general, older, retired, aged couples are what you usually find in the Creekside area. Creekside is not a 55 and older community, meaning anyone can live here, but it does tend to attract people on the upper end of that spectrum. A lot of retirees and of course a lot of golfers in the community. There are families here with kids, but not a lot. I think one of the reasons for that is Creekside is very far south in Salem, and it's a little ways away from schools. It's also a little ways away from retail and commercial areas. If you're thinking of moving to the Creekside neighborhood, there are quite a few homes that pop up for sale each year. Usually around 20 to 25 homes actually sell in the Creekside neighborhood a year. Right now there are actually 8 active on the market. If your budget's on the lower end of what's available, those tend to go pretty quickly. But if you're on the upper end, like above $600,000 or $700,000, then that inventory is usually pretty strong and you'll have a few options to look at. Well, thank you for watching my neighborhood tour of some of the most popular neighborhoods here in the Salem, Oregon area. If you're still considering a move here to Salem, Oregon or the Mid-Willamette Valley and you want expert advice, feel free to give me a call, send me a text or an email. I would love to chat with you and answer any of your questions and help you make a smooth move to Salem, Oregon.